KUCR NAMM 2019. We're here with Joe Stopka of Tascam. You're the Vice President of Sales, and I think you're going to be selling a lot of these because it's a rather beautiful piece. Can you tell us about it?
Well, yeah, it's got that cool retro Tascam look, doesn't it? Yeah, a couple years ago when I first started with Tascam, one of the first questions I asked is, where's all the mixers? Because we were quite a prolific mixer manufacturer at one time, going back to the Model 5 and some of those original, and then into the Porter Studio, and we had that kind of retro look. So I said, why don't we come together and build an analog mixer that's really easy to use, that you can use it for live application, and then why not put our multi-track recording technology that we have in our big Porter Studios, and at the same time, a lot of people like to record into their DAW, whether it's Pro Tools or Logic. So on the back is USB, and this is a 22-channel individual track to your DAW, 22-channel audio interface, 24-track recorder, and then a 22-channel mixing board, all in one package. So as you see here, we use a 100mm long throw fader, so you get real precise mixing. But on the first 12 channels, they're mono mic or line inputs. The next 4 channels are mono mic or stereo line input. Each channel, the first 12 channels, I should say, have a 1-knob compressor, so you can do a little bit of dynamic limiting or compression. They have 3-band EQ with mid sweeps. Then we have 2 mono monitor sends, and then we have 1 effect send because there's a built-in effects processor built in with 16 presets. Each of the channels can be lit up here. I'm putting it in record mode, and you can actually record up to 24 channels simultaneously. If you needed to do an overdub, you can actually overdub up to 8 channels. Most likely you can only overdub 2 or 3 channels at a time, whether it's a guitar or some vocals or something like that. But you can do that. By the way, one channel I forgot to mention is one of my favorite channels. It's actually a Bluetooth channel. So if you got a track to learn, the band wants to learn a tune or something, a cover tune, they can actually write off of their phone or their smartphone or something, like they can actually have it play along, and they can rehearse with it mixed into the original track. So it gives them a sense of security that they're learning the tune precisely. So,
would this be appropriate for a small venue for a live show?
Actually, absolutely. And one of our strongest venues is House of Worship, huge marketplace. A lot of the smaller and medium churches, they don't necessarily have an operator who's very sophisticated. So having a digital console, which is the rage, menu-driven stuff like that, people can really get into trouble. So with an analog board like this, it's simple. You want it to increase the bass, you just grab the bass control or the mid or whatever, you can do that. And everything is, really simple, just like a traditional analog mixing console. The other thing too is, small nightclubs, we see this going into a lot of rehearsal facilities. And we've had some major artists come by here that what they talk about here is they have 2 or 3 guys on the team where they're doing pre-production and they're writing, and one will be on a 2-inch tape machine, one will be on a DAW, and one will be on a Porter Studio, and they can't share files that easy. So I had a major group actually buy 3 of these, so the 3 key writers can just exchange the SD card, say, hey, put your tracks on this, and I want to see how, So it's an easy tool. They don't have to go through the learning curve of learning the DAW every 6 months when they finally come back to it, because they're on tour on the other 6 months. So it's really simple. It's really easy and approachable. It's also very affordable. So that's the other thing too.
Well, I notice it's very, very affordable at $999.99. So that's a great. Also, the quality of workmanship is the build is so it's made in China. Like everything is made, right?
Everything is, yeah. We actually Japan. We're a Japanese company, TIAC Corporation of America is our parent company. Tascam is the pro audio brand. But our engineering team is always designed and built stuff of high quality. It's just the scales of economy building in China. But what's unique about our company is we have our own specific factories in China that we use, so our quality control is very high. So, that's one of the things that we're really known for is rock solid reliability. So you see a lot of old Tascam products that are still being used in a lot of facilities. They keep on ticking,
Well, we're using a lot of them actually. So could you do like a monitor mix for if you had band members and give them?
You could. Let me explain how I do it with my group. This will be a good example. We have a headphone amplifier because we rehearse in with the headphones on. But you could do this with monitors as well. So what I do is I take the headphone output here, All right, and I feed it, I'm sorry, the control room output, and I feed it into the stereo input of the headphone amplifier. So that could go into like powered speakers or something like if you want to. And then they listen to a mix, basically what you'd hear almost in the studio with a little bit of reverb on that. Now, a couple of the guys like a little bit more of something else. So in our headphone amplifier, not only can you listen to the stereo mix, but you can insert an additional mono mix into anyone's separate headphone amp. So the drummer wants a little bit more bass and keyboard, so he gives an extra mono mix into his stereo mix. And then the vocalist wants, you know, a little more of himself, of course, usually what it is. And we can do that. So there's a variety of ways you can actually set up some monitor mixes, you know. We have a 7-piece group, and we find that this thing just works flawlessly for us.
So this is a solution for all kinds of issues, and in terms of well, first of all, I want to say it's beautiful, and also for your superstitious band members, they can knock on wood. So
knock on genuine imitation wood.
Imitation wood, yeah. So it's lovely. Is it designed in Japan or designed
in Japan? Actually, this started here with me and a couple of other guys.
So you're vice president of marketing, right?
Sales, yeah.
But you're helping to design the product.
Well, I'm a product guy because I'm a gear geek just like the rest of everybody here, you know. Right. So it's like I have a full-blown studio in my house. You know, I record and write the commercials and the industrial music for films and stuff like that. So I run up against the challenges of workflow like a lot of people do, and I said, let's make something that has a really simple workflow. In fact, this has attracted some major motion picture and television stations for their podcasting channels. So they usually have an engineer in that environment who's not necessarily their top engineer, and they need something simple to work on because they want to just gather in the interviews or the podcast before they go into final production, and they can record this with multiple microphones and maybe a background effect off of the phone and that, and then they can just take the SD card out, give it to the main editor, and he can go into Pro Tools or Avid or whatever and do all the editing.
Do you have, my last question would be, is it computer connectable? That is,
yes.
Could you actually use this as an interface?
It is. It's actually a 22-channel interface. So basically, on the back side of this is a USB 2.0 jack. So you can get all 22 of these inputs simultaneously on separate channels inside of your DAW.
Really, you could handle that simultaneously.
I mean, think, how much would you pay for a 22-channel DAW interface?
Now we're getting into an infomercial.
Yeah, I mean, think about this though. I mean, the biggest audio interfaces like from us and from other brands, the 8 channels start at $400, $500, $600, and you don't have a mixer. All you have is 8-channel mic pre's and an 8-channel interface.
So what you're saying is actually just as an interface alone, it's worth the money.
It's worth the money, yeah. And guess what? You can actually take it to the gig and play a live gig too, or you can, if you don't want to hook up your computer, just capture all your tracks on the SD card, pull out the SD card, throw it in your computer later and edit, and then you can share your files. So you're basically, what we did one time, we played a gig, we recorded all the tracks in that, we took it out, we edited it, and we did our demo off of a live gig. So, you know, it worked out. There was a couple of clinkers, you know, somebody played the wrong note. We just went and punched in and overdubbed that track and made it sound sweet.
Okay, Joe Stopka of Tascam. Thank you so much for being on the program here at NAMM 2019, and good luck with this product, the Tascam Model 24, NAMM 2019.